Yeah, Chuck, let me get off the phone. You're on the wrong phone. I Chuck, quit calling me on this phone, Chuck.
No, you ain't tell me that. All right, I'll take it. What you want to do? You put him in the room?
Take him to the house and then call him when they get to mine.
I already got me already, boss.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to tell you, but I got this motherfucker stuffed like a motherfucking baked potato.
Do what you gotta do. Get out the here so we can breathe. But being humble, man. Humble got me fucked over.
There was an intercepted call between Terry Flenory and his sister, and Terry poured his heart out to his sister. He was very frustrated with Demetrius, very angry over their split. He was very concerned that Demetrius's flamboyant lifestyle was going to cause law enforcement to identify what they were doing and bring heat on the whole organization and bring them down. The irony of it was that Terry's calls were being intercepted by DEA.
How you doing today, son? What up? I still feel like I'm on a tight task. When you got pulled over, you gave me your real name?
I gave him everything, and you know what he gave me a problem about? That can.
What can?
About over there. About that other situation.
Yeah, that's what they said. They sent the people to the house about that.
Yeah, because he went real crazy over that, too. But he was mad because he couldn't stand nothing. That's why he did that, too.
All right, so I know what to do for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
About the same time, the Detroit DEA was developing their investigation on Terry's side of the organization. Bolton County prosecutor Rand Sahi was overhearing rumors of the mysterious Black Mafia family's presence in Atlanta.
The whole idea of a Black Mafia family was like a ghost story. Cops told it like you would tell it to your kids. There was no presence. You didn't see them anywhere. But if you asked people on the street, you mentioned BMF, they wouldn't talk about it. So it was very real to the people who were selling drugs and doing drugs, but to the rest of us, we had no proof that that existed.
The Atlanta side of the investigation began on the night of September 7, 2003. Police were alerted to a shooting after an opposing crew targeted a BMF stash house for a robbery.
We had a case, it was a shooting, a home invasion, where the people who were in the home actually shot the invaders, moved everything out, dropped the invaders off at the hospital, but they left a key of coke in the process of cleaning out their house. Their house had a large bank-type vault in it, and they claimed to be BMF, and that's where it started.
One of the men arrested at the house was one of Meech and Terry's key financial consultants.
It was Doc Marshall and Kenneth Harvey, the two defendants in that case.
Doc was very smart with numbers. He was really called the CFO of BMF. He ran all kinds of spreadsheets and reports for both Meech and Terry.
Bill Marshall is the kind of guy that drug traffickers need.
He knew how to work the financial side of things and obtain loans on cars and homes and to cover up the source and ownership of those items.
Without a guy like Bill Marshall, they cannot enjoy the fruits of their labor.
The incident was not the first time Doc Marshall had come up on law enforcement's radar.
He first came on our radar during a roundup on the Puritan Avenue investigation. We seized a BMW 760, a $125,000 car. The vehicle had been obtained through Bill Marshall's business called Exquisite Empire, which was based out of Atlanta.
As police searched the crime scene, they found a key notebook that contained obvious drug records of the trafficking organization, including associates' names and phone numbers and straw buyers' identities. The shooting at Doc Marshall's house was Atlanta's first taste of the Black Mafia family, but it was not its last. Meech himself made headlines 2 months later for his involvement in a high-profile double homicide. On the night of November 12, 2004, Big Meech was treated in the ER for a gunshot wound to his buttocks. Earlier that night, there was a shootout outside of Club Chaos, a hot nightclub in Atlanta. One of the men killed at the club was P. Diddy's bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones.
Wolf was a well-known guy here in New York who was very much a street guy, and Wolf was one of these guys that you really would mess around with. You know, he had a very quick temper.
The story goes that Meech was hanging out with Jones's ex-girlfriend, and Jones would not have it.
An argument ensued, and then guns got drawn. And then Meech had his guy with him, and Wolf had his guy with him, and ultimately Wolf and his guy lost.
Meech was initially arrested for the double homicide. The Atlanta Police Department conducted a search on a mansion they believed to be Meech's residence.
They hid this Bel Air Lake house, the White House, which is a Flenory house. They go there looking for a gun that they believe Demetrius Flenory may have used in the shooting at the club down there.
Although the murder weapon was never found, a notebook similar to the one seized at Doc Marshall's house was recovered. The Atlanta investigation was heating up, but Meech's murder charges would soon be dropped. No witnesses would come forward, and as Jones was shot from behind, there was not enough evidence to maintain the charges.
It was a justified shoot. No matter how bad everybody wanted to get Meech, that was one where the evidence pointed to the fact that they were defending themselves. Jones stepped out of line.
Over the course of the next 3 years, the Black Mafia family's reputation in Atlanta grew more imposing and violent.
They were violent. They would walk into clubs and take over the clubs. They wanted your girlfriend, they'd take your girlfriend. They wanted your car, they'll take your car. There was not a damn thing you could do about it.
The gang's numbers swelled, and their ominous presence loomed throughout the city's nightclubs.
There were stories of people getting thrown off balconies at bars, punched in the face and kicked and stomped. That was the reality of BMF. So for every grandmother whose grocery bill they paid for at Publix, there was 3 grandsons lying in the hospital somewhere with broken bones.
Atlanta had become a battleground, and the violence seemed to swirl around BMF and its associates. Often it was impulsive and senseless, but at times the motives were far more menacing.
I got some shit that'll stand you up, and I got some shit that'll take your life in this motherfucker. Nigga, this that 357, nigga, that Trey Pound, nigga, Magnum, nigga, with a lot of gunpowder behind each shot. It's that shit that's gonna blow you about 4 feet back, nigga. I only got 6 of these shots. I only need 1.
As more and more attention was being brought upon the organization, Meech became openly defiant in believing his hip-hop company could blur the line between art and reality.
Probably no secret to them that we were after them. They thought they were untouchable, and they were taunting us.
Blue, man, this man is interfering with my business. You need to get down here and talk to this man. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to count this. I don't know why somebody let him in the room to see what's going on anyway, man.
In 2004, he even commissioned billboards in Atlanta claiming the world was BMF's, a throwback to Scarface's mantra.
The billboards was when it was enough was enough. That billboard was always a bone of contention with the district attorney himself. The fact that they could just be so out there. He was very determined, and so he took the handcuffs off of us.
Meech was put under constant surveillance, and an Atlanta-based task force was assigned to topple the family. They used similar strategies of the Detroit DEA and got a wiretap on a low-level dealer.
Once the wires were running, they were manned 24/7. I don't believe that we ever came off of them. And then a lot of the agents, Chip Cook, Mike Hannon, these guys would come in when they weren't scheduled, just to go back through and review. They put the case together.
Their diligence paid off, and they were able to spin up several times all the way up to a high-level BMF manager favored by Big Meech himself.
They would watch The Wire on HBO, and they would talk about it. And we'd sit there white-knuckled, the episodes where they would throw all the burners away, and they would talk about, good things these idiots down here don't know how to wiretap. Or, or they get paranoid, go, let's just text. Or they say, call me on this number. Talk about, kilos of cocaine, being like, hey, did you pick up the trees? I got 50 trees sitting in my car. They gave us a blueprint to what they were going to do every time.